Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here. It is time for a trophy list analysis video. Been a little while since I felt like doing one of these. Anyway, today's game is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, the sequel to Death Stranding from back in 2019. Anyways, the game releases worldwide on June 24th or June 26th of 2025. I believe that it releases a little bit early for some people if they were to have pre-ordered it and bought like a special edition of it or something. I think that's how it works. Anyways, the game comes with 55 total trophies worth 1,350 points, 1 platinum, 2 golds, 6 silvers, and 46 bronzes. So as we go into this, I want to give my typical disclaimer in that, as with many of the games that I do an analysis of, I am specifically looking at the trophies from the perspective of a trophy hunter, not necessarily as some big mega fan of the series, so there might be certain things that I get wrong and just might not have the best information on certain aspects of it, but I'm looking at this purely from the perspective of a trophy hunter, not necessarily a mega fan. Now that being said, I do think that I would probably enjoy the original Death Stranding. I've never played it outside of maybe with Lizard Guy, but he really likes it. And I feel like it's something that I could definitely sink a lot of time into. And I think that this one's going to have a lot of quality of life adjustments to certain parts of it, like earlier travel, like with vehicles and stuff, to where it should be a little bit easier to get around. But I guess we will have to see. So the Platinum Trophy, which is the trophy that you get upon earning all other trophies in the game, for those who are unfamiliar with trophy hunting, is called Homo Liberans, the Savior of Humanity. So that's the Platinum Trophy. No one's earned it yet. So now we have a whole bunch of story trophies, and I'm just going to go through the titles of all of them here just to sort of speed through this part of it because they're all just unmissable story trophies. Lou, can you hear me? Can you see me? Time to start a new journey. Help us bring Australia into the network. We'll show the world the hope in your reign. Did he say Nirvana? To our little family, Sam the Man, in the dark about everything. And his name is Neil Vana. So that is 8 bronze trophies for finishing the first 8 episodes of the game. So let's scroll on down a bit further. I don't break that easily. You will never ever be alone. Keep Lou safe. To help you find the strength to carry on. To forsake our flesh and our freedom. We have to get tomorrow back. And I'll always be with you. So those are 7 more bronze trophies that are all story related for finishing episodes 9 through 15. And then finally we have Death Can't Tear Us Apart, our first silver trophy of the list for completing episode 16 tomorrow. So that's for finishing the game, presumably. So now we get into miscellaneous trophies, but that makes it clear that about a fourth of the list is story related, so that's kind of nice. And there's a lot of other trophies on here that are probably going to be pretty much unmissable. A bronze trophy called Standard Porter. Complete a standard order for the first time. That's probably one of the first trophies you'll get in the game, or one of the earliest ones overall. Seasoned Porter. This is a gold trophy. Complete 10 deliveries, 10 recoveries, 10 elimination destruction standard orders with an S rank in casual difficulty or above. So I guess that means this is the only trophy on the list that mentions difficulty. So it means that you just have to play on casual difficulty, but does that mean that there's a difficulty below casual, like a straight up story difficulty where you like can't die or anything like that? And maybe that's just the only thing that voids this trophy, so you just have to play on casual difficulty until you get this, then you could drop down to potentially a story difficulty. That's the way I take that, but that is the only difficulty trophy on the list. No completing the game on a high difficulty, and presumably, again, casual's probably the second lowest. Which is probably how I would play the game when I do eventually probably play this one. Helping people to connect. We're back to bronze trophies. Complete an aid request for the first time. That's probably one of the first trophies you'll get in the game. Promising signs. Construct an online aid request sign for the first time. It just might take a little while to get the materials or the blueprints to make it, but that's probably a very, very easy trophy. Because remember, this is a very much, not necessarily asymmetrical multiplayer game, but it's a very different type of multiplayer, where sometimes structures can be within the world that other people have created, signs can be put up that other people have created, stuff like that, but you supposedly don't interact with any actual other people. Although there is one trophy later on down the list that makes me sort of question that a little bit, but I'm assuming I'm overthinking it. My first structure. Build your very first structure of any type. That's probably the first trophy you get in the game. It's probably in the tutorial area. Master Builder, build every structure type, including tools, deployable shields, electric traps, and any sign. Apparently there's only 18 types. That's probably not something that you're going to get until later on in the game, just simply because you probably don't get all the blueprints to start out or all the materials for it. Starting point, connect your Cupid for the first time. I assume that that's like basically just hooking stuff up to the chiral network to some degree, and that's probably like one of the first trophies you'll get as well, probably in the very first chapter, first episode. Now we have a silver trophy, keep on connecting. Connect all facilities using your Cupid. So reach all the facilities and connect them all to the chiral network. There are apparently 42 of them, according to the trophy list here. And then connecting hearts and minds. Maximize your connection level with all facilities. That is a gold trophy. So I assume that the way you do that is by first finishing the story, and then any side missions that the area might have, and then after that you probably just have to keep making deliveries satisfactorily to each of the locations until eventually you max out your connection with each of them. No one's got that trophy yet because that one could probably take quite a while to get. That's probably going to be a big chunk of your time, especially once you've finished off the story. Self-improvement. Activate an APAS enhancement for the first time. That sounds very self-explanatory, or at least easy. It's like that. Send a like for the first time. Another probably episode 1, basically unmissable trophy right there. A life well liked. Receive a total of 2,400 or more likes for completing orders. That's probably unmissable, especially while even just connecting all the settlements. And then a porter at peak popularity. Receive a grand total of, is that 50,000? Yep, that's 50,000 or more likes for completing orders. Again, that's probably unmissable, especially while you're connecting all the settlements and maxing out your reputation or connection with them. My first training session, complete a VR training program for the first time. That's probably not something that you immediately have access to, but it looks like over half of players have it already. A first glimpse of the SSS. Read an SSS post for the first time. I'm assuming that's something that you do like in the very beginning of the game as well, because it's another 100% obtained trophy. Make it your own. Use a screenshot taken in photo mode to decorate your private room. I'm actually surprised that trophy is not more common, because that sounds like it would be really easy, unless maybe you don't get access to photo mode until later in the game for some reason, or a private room until later. Creature Comforter. Deliver a wild animal to the animal shelter for the first time. Animals required to complete orders do not count. So I don't really know how much that would involve. It seems like it wouldn't be anything all that hard, and it looks like a lot of people already have it. But I guess you have to capture any animal in the wild and take it to any one of the animal shelters, or maybe there's only one animal shelter somewhere that you don't get to until like a couple episodes in. Rare Specimen Rescuer. This looks like it could be a bit of a RNG heavy trophy. Deliver an albino animal to the animal shelter for the first time. Not that many players have earned this, because that definitely sounds like it could require some good RNG, because albino animals are pretty rare out here in the real world. So maybe they're a little bit more common here than they are in the real world, but I guess we'll have to see. Road Restorer. Restore one section of road. Probably very easy to do once you have some materials to do it and blueprints if needed. Seems easy enough. Dig, dig, dig. Restore 3 mines. I don't entirely know how that's going to work. I guess you just need resources to fix them up and, locate them around the world. Presumably that's not particularly hard, but just probably not a super early game thing. Rail Restorer. Restore and fully reopen a monorail line. So you're supposed to have access to vehicles and faster travel options a lot earlier in this game than you did in the original, which is definitely a nice quality of life adjustment that would probably make me more enticed to actually play the game. But that one probably takes a while to get enough materials to be able to do it, and it's probably potentially a very long monorail line, so it just might take a while, so probably not too difficult, just a bit time consuming. Emergency Worker. Deliver emergency support for the first time. So I guess that's if a settlement just desperately needs some kind of supply and you have to get it to them quickly and intact. Maybe it's something like that. Spring into life. Dig a hot spring for the first time. That's actually a pretty uncommon trophy, so that must not be something you can do until later in the game. Written in the stars. Study the night sky for the first time. I am shocked that trophy is that rare right now, because that seems like something that you'd be easily able to do. Maybe you just can't have the option to actually study it until kind of late in the game or something, or just maybe no one thinks of doing it for some reason. Porters make the world go round. Barter with another porter for the first time. So that's what I'm sort of thinking about with the whole online aspect of this game. I don't think you're ever supposed to run into other human players. I'm assuming that you don't because you don't in the original. But unless that's like actual NPC porters, then I don't know what else it could be. And if it is other NPC porters, then that seems like it should be a relatively easy trophy that you probably get earlier on than 25% of the people having it at this time instead of a higher percentage. A private show. Watch a live performance in your private room. No one's got that one yet, so that must be a pretty late game activity that you can do. So you're the pizza chef. We're now getting into what I assume to be side mission trophies. Discover the truth about the pizza chef. So, like I said, I think that these next few trophies are probably going to be various side mission or collectible related ones. Now we have a silver trophy, Showdown at the Tar Lake. Defeat the Lord of the Tar Lake. Like I said, probably some kind of side mission. The Headless Riders Unmasked, a bronze trophy for solving the riddle of the Headless Riders. Savior of Terminal Fort Knot. This is a silver trophy that actually seems a bit interesting. Prevent Terminal Fort Knot from falling victim to a void out. So that sort of sounds, and with it being a silver trophy, kind of sounds like it could be a missable trophy. So maybe like a specific side mission involves Terminal Fort Knot about to be destroyed, and you have to stop it from being destroyed or stop it from falling victim to a void out, as it says. So that one sounds like it could potentially be a missable trophy unless you can replay whatever mission it's tied to. And no one's got it yet, so I guess we'll have to see. The scars left by the Giants. Arrive at the BT Nexus in the F3 crater. That's a silver trophy, and that's presumably either a side mission related trophy or maybe an exploration based trophy. The Real Story of the Ghost Hunter, a bronze trophy for revealing the truth about the Ghost Hunter. Again, sounds like either collectible or side mission related. BT's Best Friend. Capture a large BT for the first time. I don't know how much that's going to involve. Not a ton of people have it, but it's a bronze trophy, so presumably it's not too difficult. Conqueror of the Golden CC. Defeat the Golden Chiral Creature. That's probably like an endgame activity of some kind, even though it's only a bronze trophy. Not a lot of people have it, so that's presumably some kind of late game activity that you have to do. A Premier Porter. Achieve a Porter grade of 40 or higher in all categories. Presumably there are 5 categories because you need, I guess, 40 points in each of the 5 to reach the 200 that it lists for this silver trophy. I don't really know what that one involves. That's one that I really have no idea what you'd have to do. Compulsive Cargo Carrier. Deliver a total of 500 pieces of cargo. That's a bronze trophy. That's pretty self-explanatory. Just time-consuming. Heavy Lifter. Deliver cargo weighing a total of 2 tons. It looks like a lot of people already have that one, 2 tons being 2,000 pounds. And then Long Distance Lugger, which is reach a total distance traveled of 80 kilometers upon completion of an order. So I don't know if that means just 80 kilometers total throughout the entirety of the game, or a single journey that's 80 kilometers, which would be something like, 60 miles or 50 to 60 miles, which seems like a long way, but I don't know. But none of those seem particularly hard, just maybe a little bit time-consuming, or just progress that you get throughout the game. So overall, Death Stranding 2 looks like it's going to be a pretty easy trophy list overall. There's only one difficulty-based trophy, and there's only one trophy that looks like it might potentially be missable. So that's all really, really good. Just the only thing is, this is probably going to be a very long platinum, the same way as the original was. It's probably only about a 3 out of 10 in terms of overall difficulty, because you can play on those different difficulties, and I guess once you get that one gold trophy, you could change from casual to, I guess there's a difficulty below it. So like a story difficulty or something, that's my assumption. And then that would just make everything from that point on even easier. And alongside that, it's just going to be very time-consuming, probably like 100-plus hour platinum the way that the first game is. But anyways, it looks like an interesting list, an easy enough list. The game comes out on June 24th or June 26th. for the PS5. There's no PS4 version, thank God. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments about this game, if you're going to be picking it up or not. I'm sure I'll play it at some point once it drops in price a bit, and there's like guides out for it if there is anything potentially missable or tricky, but seems like a fairly easy, casual completion overall. So thank you guys for watching, see y'all back here real soon for the next trophy video.